Today I'm going to be doing a little bit of experimenting. I'm going to be forging a pair of tongs as part of my shop tong project, but this pair of tongs is going to be for a very specific purpose. Hi, I'm Dennis Frechette and welcome back. A few years ago I made a video called the beam hook. It was basically just a nail that was sort of L-shaped, and I was going to use it to hang up tools and everything on the wall, and instead of using a nail or a screw or something like that. It worked out all right, but I wasn't quite happy with the shape of the hook. I wanted a nice sharp square corner on the end of the nail part of the hook, and I could never quite get it. They worked fine. I've used them, and I'm still using them, but it was always nagging me that I couldn't get that corner just right. So today I'm going to be doing some experimenting in the hopes of solving that problem. So that's what I have for you today, and I hope you enjoy the video. For those of you who aren't familiar with the Shop Tong project that I've been mentioning in the last few videos, a few years ago I had an opportunity to set up a couple of different places that wanted to start teaching blacksmithing classes. So I welded up a lot of tong blanks so that I could just quickly make up tongs as I needed them. And lately I've been cleaning up the shop and I've come across all of these blanks that have been sitting in corners and things that I've forgotten about. So I decided to finally make them into tongs that I could use in my shop. And this is one of the last pieces that I've come across. And as you can see, if you look at the intersection between the uh, heavier bar at the end and the reins, there's a pretty lousy weld there. So this is, definitely why this was left to the very end. But anyway, it's solid and it'll work for this pair of tongs. So just ignore that part. The rest of the video, I think, is quite educational. And this is the reason that I had to use the tong blank that I just finished forging out. When I added everything up, I wound up with an odd number of tong blanks. So this one was already started and I didn't finish it for some reason. So in order to make a complete pair of tongs out of this one, I had to use the blank that I just forged out. So that's the last of that series. Again, these were tongs that were made in a hurry. I had to make a lot of tongs quickly, and by the end of it, my standards were getting pretty low. So hopefully this is the last you'll see of that bunch. Here I'm getting ready to use one of the hooks that I made to fuller the groove that I need in one of the jaws. My holdfast, which is the smallest one that I have, is still a little bit too long to hold it directly, so I have to clamp this outrigger to it to be able to reach the end of the hook and hold it in place. So overall, I'm quite happy with these. The hook or the bar stock, that wouldn't be a hook at this point, is being held really securely by the tongs, and hopefully the tapered fuller that I've put in there will help to support it while I'm trying to upset the end of the hook. One of the problems I was having when I was forging the original hooks was that I didn't have anything at the time to reach inside to that inside edge of that square corner, so I couldn't support it in any way while I was trying to shape that corner. So here I'm using one of my cupping tools to get into that corner. The end of the hook can wrap around inside the pipe, so it should give me the flexibility I need to try to shape that corner and keep it straight so I can upset it. So here you have the original hook that I made, which is on the right, and the hook that I made today. So you can see them side by side, so the differences are going to be a little more obvious. The one that I made today has a very square corner. It's not as sharp as I would like, but if you compare that with the original hook, you can see how the outside edge is actually quite rounded, and there really isn't anywhere for the hammer to get a good purchase on the end of that nail. So if I place a hammer next to this hook, you can see how the hammer face is well supported on both sides of the center line of the nail. But if you look at the original hook, the outside corner of this hook is actually curved, so you don't have good support on both sides of the center line. So when you drive this hook, the hammer is going to continually want to be pushing it up out of alignment. So in order to be able to drive this hook straight, you're either going to need to pre-drill the hole or have some kind of pliers or adjustable wrench or something that you can apply pressure to this hook to counteract that drift. So even though the new hook does look a lot nicer than the old one, it isn't simply an aesthetic consideration. There's actually a really good practical reason why you want a nice sharp corner on any kind of a drive-in hook.